Hey everybody, David here, and I am going to be talking about Collider Video's last remaining top 50 superhero movies of all time. They finally had their last five this week, and I'm ready to read off the list here of their films and compare it to mine. And I'm gonna say, man, this was a really great list. So let's get right into this. At number five, they had Captain America: The Winter Soldier. This one makes perfect sense to me. The Winter Soldier is a great film and was one that actually showed, wait a minute here. There is a movie here that has potential to be as good or even better than the first Avengers movie, which everybody, every nerd had a nerdgasm over the first Avengers movie because it was something great that we saw for the first time that was never done in a superhero movie before, by getting all these different heroes from different movies and putting them all together. So when Captain America: The Winter Soldier came up, seeing how well directed it was and how everything just came together in that movie, how intense it could be, it showed that Marvel, yeah, they can do the fun, silly type of movies once in a while. But this showed that, hey, we can do some really serious movies at the same time, too, sprinkled with a little bit of humor here and there. The Captain America movies have done that really well. For me, though, I have Captain America: The Winter Soldier at number 9. I'll explain why later. At number 4, they have the first Avengers movie. Of course, this was going to make the top 5. I was predicting it would make the top 2. I thought it was going to be Dark Knight, then Avengers on their list, but I was totally wrong. For me, I have the Avengers at number 5. This is a great movie. I still remember the first time when I saw that first one of the trailers for the Avengers, and you see that shot where it goes around the camera pans around all of them for the first time. That shot gives me chills. And I've gone back and seen that trailer a couple more times. And I'll say, every time I see that trailer, it still gives me the chills. It's such a great scene, especially when you see that scene for the first time on the big screen. All those heroes uniting, how it all came together, how Loki was the villain of the story. And Loki is still, to this day, the best Marvel villain in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. How Nick Fury brought them all. Phil Coulson, who is on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now, plays a huge role, which is one of the reasons why we kind of want him to come back and show the Avengers, hey guys, I'm still alive. Because he was the one that got this team started. I mean, there's so much to love about this movie. I understand that the story is simple, and maybe for me, that's why I would put it above a lot of other films. But I get why. At least it made the top 5. That's what I meant to say. At least it made the top 5. And 4, it's really not a bad place, especially when you see the 3 that are above it. Which leads us to now number 3. They have Captain America: Civil War. For me, I have Captain America: Civil War right above The Winter Soldier at number 8. So I have Winter Soldier at 9, Civil War at 8. I agree this one is the better of the two, which is really tough because they're both really good. So if people picked Winter Soldier over Civil War, I get it. But it is cool when you see the characters as the Avengers team, and that's something that the movie did right. Even though it could have been looked at as an Avengers 2.5 or whatever, it did still manage to make Captain America, Steve Rogers, the focus of the film. And some people feel they leaned more on Tony Stark's side by the end of it. Me, I was someone that was on Team Cap, man, all the way. I'm like, nope, Tony's wrong on this. Killing is wrong, man. I have a moral code for myself, and I would not cross the line on killing. That's wrong. And Tony wanted revenge. He let revenge take over him, wanted to kill Bucky, even though it was clear Bucky, he can't control himself. There's like codes that they say, and it brainwashes him. And Steve is right. He has hope that he can save his buddy. It's not like Kylo Ren, who is choosing to do something evil, this is a guy who's not choosing to do what he wants. So there has to be a way to fix him. And I think they are going to eventually find a way. So Civil War, as you can tell, is great. And I'm really happy it's on this list at number 3. I'm telling you, if certain films could be combined as one, Civil War would probably be 5th or 6th on my list. Moving on to number 2 on Collider's list is Logan. Logan is right above Winter Soldier and Civil War for me at number 7. Again, another great superhero movie, and this one, I get it. It's a great film. It feels like a Western. It takes its time telling the story, but it doesn't, to me, even though it takes its time, it doesn't feel slow. It feels like it's the right pace for this movie. And the story that Logan is going on, this is Hugh Jackman's swan song. So to see them take this approach, a movie that Hugh Jackman's been wanting to do for a long time, he's been wanting to make a rated R X-Men film, or Wolverine film at least. I think this was a perfect ending for that character. And for me personally, I would put, which I do have right above it, is X-Men Days of Future Past. I have Logan and Days of Future Past neck to neck. But I would go for Days of Future Past only because if you follow my channel for a long time and you've seen me talk about Days of Future Past, I love time travel. And when a movie or a TV show does time travel right, I just love it. I love the idea of it. I think it's a great concept when it comes to storytelling. And Days of Future Past, to me, is just it's the Avengers of X-Men for me. That first Avengers feel, seeing the new interact with well, they don't really interact, but still, it was cool just seeing all of them in a movie. I really love it. That idea, and everything that I love about time travel was in that film. So that's why I would put it over Logan. But Logan is still a great film on its own right as well. So I get it if people love it as the best X-Men movie of all time, unless they love Deadpool more. That's another one I would get, even though I don't have it quite as up. It's in my top 20, just not in my top 10. Finally, at number 1, this is the only movie, as far as I can tell, that me and Collider can agree on. There's some that we were pretty much even, but The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight is the movie that's on both of my list and their list as the number 1 superhero movie of all time. And this is the one where I would say if I could combine The Dark Knight with Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises as one movie, which I like thinking of it that way, then yeah, my list would be totally different. Some of those ones that I just mentioned would be a little bit more up, 2 more points higher. So I think it's great that The Dark Knight is number 1 on this list. It was one that I was expecting it to be number 1, either that or the Avengers, and I'm happy that it made it because they said everything perfectly. It's the Godfather of superhero movies. There's no way around it, and I'm glad a lot of the guys at Collider mentioned, and girls, that The Dark Knight, it's not just Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker that made that movie. Yeah, that was part of it. And it wasn't his death either that made people like it. No, it was the whole movie as a whole. It was an ensemble film. This was a great ensemble, which is Nolan is really great at that. He's great at doing these large cast of characters and giving them all equal time. And Christian Bale does not feel like he's overshadowed. I don't feel that way. Yeah, maybe the Joker's popularity maybe overshadows depending on the person you're talking to, but for me, as a Batman fan, I still love Batman and Bruce Wayne just as much as I love the Joker. Every moment Batman is on screen with Christian Bale playing this character, I loved it. And Aaron Eckhart, another great performance from him as Two-Face, especially when you go back and look at that terrible version that Tommy Lee Jones played. It's like, thank goodness Two-Face, the character, got a redemption. at a new Batman movie that redeemed the character. And then you got Gary Oldman as Commissioner Gordon, who's fantastic. Maggie Gyllenhaal is good. She's definitely a bigger improvement over Katie Holmes. And Michael Caine is also good. There's some great lines from Michael Caine in The Dark Knight. So The Dark Knight being number one, I'm not surprised. I'm very happy, and I was calling it since the beginning of these videos. So I guess that's it, guys. That's it. Tell me your thoughts on the last remaining 5 movies. Tell me your thoughts on the overall list. Overall, I would say it's a pretty good list. There's, like I said earlier, there's some that I would put a little bit higher, some I would put a little bit lower, some I wouldn't have included on the list. But everybody's list is going to be different. So when it comes to these top 50 superhero movies of all time, I don't get when people hate on movies, because movies are just to entertain. And if you dislike it and you don't like it as much as others, okay, that's fine. But to hate a movie, to me, that doesn't make sense. If you're getting angry over a movie, go take a walk outside. These lists are for fun. And if yours maybe wasn't as high as you wanted it to be, or as low as you wanted it to be, I don't know. Just know that make your own list, have fun with it. But if other people enjoy it more than you, there's nothing wrong with that. That's their opinion, that's my opinion, and that's all we can do is just respect each other's opinions. But listen to what the other people have to say about that movie, because maybe there was something that you didn't see that others saw. And it's always good to get a diverse opinion on something that you like. Something when someone has a different opinion from yours, listen to why they liked that movie, because maybe it makes you re-look at that film in a different perspective, which I think is always great. So comment below, like this video. If you just liked me talking about these movies, it doesn't have to. If you don't like the movies that were selected, just like the video anyways, because support me. And subscribe to my channel, especially if you are a huge fan of superhero movies and superhero TV shows in general. I talk about other films too and other shows once in a while as well, but the superhero stuff is the ones that I really love the most. So until next time, take care.